Hi,
Sure.
money magicians. How are you? Okay, so I just got back to Chiang Mai and I was telling Azola my entire story of having to clean my apartment. Gosh, guys, if you ever want to stress me out, like really, really stress me out, it's not money issues that will stress me, hey? Invite me to a place where it's not clean. Yeah, that's when you see me stress. A, I hate cleaning, and B, I hate dirty places. So it's just the combination is stressful because then I have to do something. One or the other has to give. So I have to do the thing that I don't like to do to get to the state that makes me feel calm. So anyway,
Mm.
today I am interviewing Azola and she's going to talk to us about her money journey. Welcome, Azola. How are you?
Welcome. Hi, everybody. I'm fine. I'm just a bit tired and drained because I'm in Joburg. So I can't wait to go back to the village because
So I'm just
Joburg is
laughing
just
because for you,
like.
so many people are starting to understand what I feel about Josie, but I'm just going to leave it. The universe is finally justifying me. I'm not crazy. The only other person that I know that's always been like me is my niece, Subushe. And she and
Mm.
I have always just agreed on the Joburg energy and just left it at that.
Nah, I've
I love
never felt this
Jozi people.
intensity.
That's my problem, is that the people I love, most of them are in Joburg. So I'm
Mm.
just, oh, yeah. So I feel you. So anyway, how are you doing? And let's get started around the financial journey. So tell us what you do for a living and why you wanted to be part of the Money Magic course. And I'm going to make you center screen right now.
Ooh, okay. So what I do is that I run a business. My business is mainly a crafting business. I craft earrings, and then I also print t-shirts that are pro-feminist. And how I came to Money Magic was that, so what happened was that, so you were just talking about one of the students in the course, Nomveliso. So what
Mhm.
happened was that I knew Nomveliso from way back in Cape Town when we were younger. And then
Yeah.
so I used to watch her on Facebook and I would wonder, what is she doing? There has to be something that's like not the kind of self-development stuff that I'm doing, but there has to be something that she's doing. So I've
Yeah.
always been curious of knowing what her journey is like, but then I was just too conscious to go and ask her or say anything to her. So I just watched her, but I could see that there's something that she's doing that I know I need to do. Fast forward one day, I'm broke as hell. Feels like my life is spinning out of control. Um, I was like dead broke. But the funny thing about my brokenness is that I sell a product that sells very well. So
Yeah.
I couldn't make sense for me why, if I'm selling this product, then why is it not making money? So
Hmm.
this was like a thing for me and for whoever was watching me, including my family, to
Yeah.
say, okay, fine, people want what you have, but somewhere, somehow, it's just not coming out the way that it's supposed to. So then this one day, I'm like, dear God, universe, whoever you are, I need a turnaround. And by, by magic, that same day, Nombeliso posts a link to the Money Magicians group.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Okay, fine. So I go in, and all I did was just to read everything. And then I inboxed her. And then her good advice to me was that just read the blog, just read the blog, just get to know, to understand the work. So I think I spent about a month just reading, and getting to understand some of the aspects that were holding me back and all of that. So
Mm.
that's how I got to introduced to Money Magicians.
Ah, wow. So then you
Mm,
got into the student group. What's
yes.
that like for you compared to the larger group and the blog? Because I know there's many people that go, Daniela gives so much content in the blog. She does the live videos in the big group. I know I'll continue with this. People actually message me like that and say, I'll continue with the large group. I'm good. And I'm like, okay. But what's the cost like compared to those that think
Whoa.
that's a
You
large group
see.
and the blog, they're getting so
Mm.
much. They don't need anything else.
You see, for me, I stayed in the larger group for about 6 months
Mm.
before I moved to the student group. And all
And
I
the
knew was
more
that I needed to
stuff,
be in
right?
the student. Yes, I knew I needed to be in the student group. So what happens in the student group, what I've found is that whatever that needs to happen to my life financially gets to happen faster.
Mm.
Or I don't sit with whatever I'm faced with. I don't sit with those emotions for too long.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a person that used to almost like have spells of depression for like a month or whatever. At
Mm.
the moment, because I'm in the student group, there's so many tools in there that I can use. I
Mm.
can just be, I can just like go where I feel like I'm totally depressed, maybe for like 3 days. And then the next thing I know, I'm on the group, I'm telling the group what my issue is. And by no time, everybody's popping up saying, no, we've got the same issue, whatnot. And then you come in and then you give me the tools of what to do next. So so the what the student group does is almost to make you feel, it makes you feel safer, but also it provides you with the tools of how to do what you need to do.
Mm.
So your
So
situation doesn't really.
I agree with you. Like I love the student group because I kind of use it as my safe space as well. It's like the one exactly what you said about when you're feeling something. And I know I'm supposed to be the teacher, but like, I know like when I go through the work myself and I feel like, yo, I'm drowning here. It's a space to just go and just share. And I can see how after that I feel clearer. And then I can step back into the role of holding the space. So I
Mm,
love that. But
mm.
what's your experience of the course been? I also love the Facebook group, but I think the course is really what makes everything come together, right? So, what's your experience of the course been like?
The experience of the course for me, and when you call it magical, it
Mm,
really is that. It's just been magic. And I'll tell you, it's not like instant magic, but for me to get to understand exactly where my struggles lie come from the course. For
uh,
me to not get things to spin out of control in my life, because before I did the course, I felt like my life was spinning out of control. I
mm,
felt like I had no control of what was going on. I had no idea what was going on. Right now, I can pause and say, oh, this is what's going on. This is
mm,
what's going on in this way and that way. So it's very different for me to be in the course and to be outside of the course. So the course for me, it does that for me very well. And also the course for me, what it does is that it paces me, where I
mm,
can say, okay, area one, I'm ready to go into. For instance, one of the things I haven't done in the course is to touch debt, my own debt. It's
yeah.
still just the way it was when I began, but I haven't
Don't
made
worry,
moves.
we start with dating next Monday, not this Monday, but the Monday after. We start
I saw
the
that and
date.
I got so excited because I was like, okay, maybe it's time for me to deal with the debt.
Mm,
But before that, before I did the course, we're talking about, I was one of those people who had probably the most miserable money story. I used to never have money. I
that
mean,
that was
20
my story.
type of I mean, like, no money, zero, 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 zero. I
Hey,
used to be that kind of
you're
person.
preaching to the choir
And
right there.
and now I've moved to a place where some months I can manifest the amount of money that I want.
Mm. Not
Where
what
I've
you need, but what
gotten.
you actually want.
And yes, not what I need, but what I want. So being in the course has surprised me in a way where I think for like 4 months I've gotten huge amounts of money. And
Mm,
then the one time it was just spectacular because and I knew it's the work of the course
mm.
where this one client wasn't paying other people. But
Wow.
then they got a client in the US to pay me directly. I was
Wow.
like, this has never happened before. But it was because that client had like very close work that I was doing with the work.
Mm,
Because it was the work of my ex-boss. So once I had forgiven her and did the work of forgiving her,
mm.
she was a very, very messy type of person. And then
Yeah.
once I got to the forgiving part on really writing out the story of what happened when I was working there, and then I met her, and then she gave me work. And then the next thing she gives me work, and then I know that she's not paying other people, but then her client in the US is like, oh, they'll pay me directly, and then they pay me directly. So I'm like, had I not done that work of healing, that
Mm,
part where me and her had a gripe, this money
mm.
wouldn't have come. And it was a
See,
lot of money. The
I
biggest amount of
love that
money
you
I've
said
ever
that.
gotten.
I love that you
Yes.
said that because you're like, I know many people that do the course we all have similar stories like this, where like the clients may not be paying other people, but because you're doing
Yes.
the work, somehow your money is never a problem with that client because you're not triggering the client energetically with their non-payment issues. You are just not there
Mm,
with that client. But other people
mm,
tell you stories and you'll be like, huh? No, I'm not having the same issues. But that's the
mm.
beauty of the work, which again, I think you just saying that proves again that it's not even about the external. It's probably not even about the other person. It's all about us and where we are in our healing journey.
So much for me. So I've had to do, so I've manifested work. I'll call it manifestation in ways where sometimes I'm just like, oh my God, I didn't see that one coming. Look, I
Mm.
won't say to you that my bank balance has been greater, but I'll tell you that I didn't even know the smallest things about myself before I did the course. Like,
Mm.
one of the things I did not know about myself was how much I used to get my ex-boyfriend to go and buy me things. So
Oh
I
wow.
had this ex-boyfriend, and we were not in the happiest relationship, but I was staying in the relationship. And then one day, so I'm thinking about, because one of the most powerful exercises we do in the course is money as your lover. I mean, we
Mm.
do that in both groups.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking about my relationship with this guy to say, what exactly is going on here? And then I started to see my patterns of dependency on him was that I
Wow.
was avoiding money, so I would send him to save to buy things.
Oh
I
wow.
would send him to buy rent, to pay rent. So
Wow.
he'd be like the financial manager of my life in a way. But
Mm.
unconsciously, I was not even conscious that I was doing that. I
Mm.
didn't want to go buy things at the shop, and he was always just ready to go buy things at the shop. I didn't want to do things, and I would stall on things like paying electricity. I don't want to pay electricity until the last minute. I
Sure.
don't want to. And then I did like a track of like
But
my whole.
isn't that funny? You didn't want to pay things until the last minute. So obviously your clients and people would not want to pay you until the last minute. This is very real. Everything in
Yeah.
our lives is such a reflection of us. So if we're putting everything last, if our debts are last, the people that we owe are last, 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 why should the universe give us something different? You can only attract that which you are.
Mm. And I was just, when another thing for me that was so real for me was that I was so shocked at how much I have issues with money.
Mm,
I was just so shocked at the emotions I get every time I go to the ATM. And
mm,
then I could see that part of the part of my avoidance of money came with me using alcohol.
that's deep, hey?
So before I did the course, I used to be one of those people, every time I get money, I go drink it and then
I
do
didn't know
whatever
that,
afterwards.
Azola. I had no clue about that.
I used to be like one of those people that I would drink, 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 and then then go and do the things that I need to do. So now I'm at a place where my drinking has gone to what, to 5%, if not 1%. Like the last
Yeah,
thing
the
I
course
want to
will do
do with
that
my
too.
money, the last thing I want to do with my money is to go drink it. That's the last thing. It used to be the first thing. Like I know
Sure.
every cocktail in the menu.
And you know, you
I
work so
know.
hard for that money to just do that. Ay.
But the emotion of not wanting to interact with the money is so
Mm,
strong that you unconsciously just like want to spend, 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 spend. So
mm.
another thing that I did not do for myself was that, oh, another thing that I used to do with money was that I used to borrow from my friends a lot. So
Mm.
when I did like a stock take, I realized that, oh, another thing, you irritate people with borrowing money. You borrow and you don't return. You
Ooh,
borrow
that
and you
was also
don't
my
return.
story. It's a wonder I still have those friends.
So I knew that about myself. So I had to just like stop that. It hasn't completely stopped, but I'm okay
Yeah,
with it having not completely stopped because I know that it's a journey more than anything else. But
yeah,
if you look at me as the person I used to be back then and the person that I am right now and how I handle my money, it's two different people. So I owe
sure.
that to the court a lot. And also another thing for me was that I could also be honest about my life and what I wanted.
Mm,
Before the course, I could never be honest to anybody about what I wanted or my life. So it wasn't like I wasn't living a lie or anything. But
yeah,
I would not say, for instance, if I want to quit a job, I
yeah,
would not boldly say, this job is killing my energy, therefore I need to leave. I
yo.
would have to find like a story of there's a resignation, retrenchment, blah, 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 where I would just be like, I could not be honest with myself and say, for instance, in the past 2 days, I hardly did any work because I was
Mm,
just tired. So
yeah.
I could not own that because I felt like, as much as I had like created all this debt with people,
Mm,
I also felt like I also created an emotional debt where I
yo.
felt like I owed people explanations
Yes.
about, so that I needed to justify what I was
Mm,
doing with my money, with myself, with my
mm,
um so just before we get even to the numbers, for me, I think the students group, what it's done for me is to anchor me emotionally.
mm,
If
mm.
that makes any sense, it's to anchor me emotionally
It makes a
so
lot
that
of
all.
sense because I used to be the same, Azola. I used to, people would invite me to things, and instead of just saying outright, hey, my money doesn't stretch like that, or doesn't stretch that far, I would create
Mm,
stories. If I didn't want to do something, there would be layer upon layer. And obviously, like you said, that's all this emotional debt, you know. And then I had this
mm,
really horribly bad habit where people would invite me to places and I'd say, yes, I'm coming, and say actively, I'm coming, agree to everything. And, at the last minute, just be a no show. I would agree
Mm.
to things, even Facebook events. The first thing when I started doing this work, that was one of the first things to go, was just like you're saying, that level of justification. I shocked myself. I'd just be like, oh, sorry, can't do it. My budget doesn't stretch that far, or I'm not going to make it. If I'm not sure about an event, I would say, put me as a maybe. On the day of, I cancel. I
Mm.
will let them know if I'm coming or not, and I'd agree on the date and set it. And so I learned a lot about how, when I saw that happening, I also saw my debt start to disappear. But before I could get there, I needed to heal the wounds that were keeping me in that roller coaster of creating that emotional debt. Because, as you
Mm.
know, there's so much underlying stuff that causes us to behave that way. It's not like we want to behave that way, right? To
Mm.
be a better person, honestly, I just didn't know how.
Mm.
I think
Mm.
that's where the
Mm. I
course,
totally get that.
yeah, it's like you want to be better. You trying and you're just like, I'm not going to tell this lie. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to stand in my truth. And yet, almost like an outer body experience. The next time it would just, you'd be
You
watching
find yourself in the
yourself
same place.
do it.
Yes, that's another thing for me that the course has helped me with, is the understanding for anyone who wants to join the course, is that the course needs patience. Right? You
Mm,
need to be patient with yourself in
mm,
a way that you know that you're not going to instantly change to be the other person that you would like to be,
mm,
and that the issues are so deep at times. Like I think I've got like two memories that are like driving me crazy, because every time I do the meditation, they coming up and I'm just like at a point of exhaustion with them,
mm,
because I'm like, oh my God, can you give me something new? Why does it have to be this boring thing over and over again? But also I'm at a place where I'm saying, oh my God, the day that this thing shifts,
mm.
I'm excited to see what my life is gonna look like.
Yeah.
The day that those two memories shift, I'm excited to see what my life is going to look like. And it doesn't mean that it's not shifting. Currently, it is, but
Mm,
maybe not in the pace that I would like it to, or I
mm,
would not like the memories to be as raw as they currently are. So it's a work in progress where you totally have to be patient with yourself and know
mm,
that it's not going to be an overnight thing, and that it's okay to go back to the person as long as you're still going to know how to. So the course gives you that freedom, almost, where you almost like do the back and forth of, oh my God, we're still dealing with this one, okay, fine, let's try this meditation, let's try that method, let's try this and that. So it's okay. So it gives me that assurance that it's okay, like I'll be fine, I'll be okay,
yeah.
I'll be okay. It's just a matter of time, me doing the work, and then things will change once I do the work. But I it's much better than just. And oh, my relationships and family. Oh my God. Look, that's just been like, I have to tell people this. That's just been like such a big part of me doing the course, because now my family, the way that I relate to my family and the way that my family relates to me is totally different. It's
Mm,
almost as if all that debt that I had created with the lies, everybody knew that I was lying or not telling the whole truth, but no one was
mm.
going to tell me that you're not telling the whole truth.
Yeah.
So now it's almost as if like there's a new layer of trust. I had
Yeah.
my mother ask me the other day about what to do with her house that she's selling in 2020. So I'm thinking, out of all the people in this house, you're asking me about your house? Girl, I'm surprised. But I can tell it's because I'm doing the work. She can tell
Mm,
that I'm more grounded. She can tell that I'm more serious about wanting to be this better person.
Mm,
So that for me, it's shifted a lot with my siblings, with
mm,
just everybody in my family. I just feel much, much better in terms of like relationships, even friendships.
yeah,
My friendships have like they more, oh my god, I don't know how to explain it, but my friendships are just beautiful.
yeah,
And it's like, so for me, so I don't know if a person must know that sometimes for some of us it's not just going to be the bank
mm,
balance going crazy, but mostly the other things in your life that could also push the balance to make crazy, to
yeah,
go to be okay.
yeah,
So for some people, it's just going to be clearing the dirt first, and
yeah.
then they do whatever they need to do. And for some of us, it's just going to be just getting emotionally well first. So I'm very appreciative of a year of getting emotionally well, of the few times I can say I've had depression or what. I'm grateful for all of that. So that's what the student course has changed for me.
Oh, wow. I feel the exact same way, hey? I mean, you, like, I never knew that I could have a relationship with family members, you know? Like, literally, I keep calling my mom and my dad, and I'm like, I'm coming home, I miss you. I've like been talking to my siblings and letting them know. It's so different. I mean, I've had these relationships now for years that they've just so radically shifted. At first, I thought, we'll see. After a few months, things will get back to the normal thing. And then it just
Mm.
kept getting better and better, and it keeps healing and healing as I heal. All I have is gratitude for this work.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Like for me, that was amazing. And the thing is, with my family, I didn't even know that we had like a rocky relationship. I
Mm,
realize now that that relationship could do with some work. At
yeah.
at that time, I was so caught up in just making the next. And I'm also just like a little bit more secure in what I want as a person,
Mm,
in terms of like I can make decisions now about money, and I know that money is not going to come or whatever. Or let's say I
mm,
think, because I even though I sell like earrings and t-shirts and whatever, Joburg back then used to be a perfect place for me to be in. But then I've made this decision to move back home and go back to the village.
mm,
And the way I feel content about having made that decision. And
mm.
it was surprising to me how everybody was like, how are you going to survive? I'm like, I'm going to live. I've got that surety within me. I know I'll be provided. If I really, really need a thing, it will be provided for me. I wouldn't have had that kind of assurance before. So
Mm.
it's helping me in making better life decisions in terms of where I need to be so that I can align myself better.
Yeah, no, I 100% feel you, hey? I mean, it's like
Mm.
I cannot explain to people how my travels work. It's like I'll be like, I have to do A, B, C, D with all this money and invest and do this. And I'll be hearing within me that I need to go to A, B, C, D, stay here. And I'll look at the prices of the places where I have to stay. And I'm like, hey, well, the budget has to also cover business and keep wealthy money afloat and keep investments going. But the beauty of the work, like you said, is that assurance of just being sure. And I think there's something that happens within us where, like, as you do the work, you heal the relationship, not just with others, but the relationship with yourself, with your own
Mhm.
connection to divinity. And that's where
Mhm.
the real magic happens. Because I, I keep mentioning the God wound, right? But it's that whole
Mm.
that we have forgotten that we ourselves are divinity and that we don't need to worry about anything because, like you said, the surety is that I can make it happen. And it's not an ego
Mm.
thing, it's that you already know that you are one with the divine. So the divine is not something outside of you, it's something that you carry within you all the time in your breath. So what you need, you are capable of providing and asking to be provided, and it just happens. So, last.
And yes, and it hasn't been like always smooth, right? So even when you are in a hardship, yes, okay.
Yeah, so you were saying
Do you
even
want
if
me to
you are
speak?
in a
Are
hardship.
you fine? Asking a question. Hardship. Even if you are in a hardship, when you are a money magic student, even when bad things happen, because life will happen as it
Mm,
needs to.
yes,
There's
all the time.
almost like a thing where you just know that there's a bigger reason why this thing is happening.
Mm,
There's always like a bigger reason. You subconsciously you get to train yourself to understand that even when I lose money, I'm losing money because money is trying to communicate with me.
mm,
When you lose a client, you know that money is trying, your business is communicating something with you. When
yeah.
money is not coming, you know that there's something that's being communicated. So, as part of that assurance, it comes with knowing that if you
Mm,
take a break for like a week, you know that the world is not going to come crashing down. It's
yeah.
gonna be okay. You just need what you need to do. You need to do what you need to do, i.e., take a break, maybe. I never
Yeah.
used to take breaks. The way I've been taking breaks this year, it's been crazy. It's the nicest thing because I'm just like, right, Shem. It's gonna be
Yeah, you
fine.
just did a whole
Nothing
travel experience,
like
didn't
I'm
you?
gonna be okay.
You just had a
Yes,
whole
I'm
travel.
just like I'm traveling. I'm doing trips, I'm doing whatever, I'm getting offered accommodation, and I just know that's what my soul needs. And I'm trusting that, okay, now is not the time to craft, but time to think and travel so that we can make this brand bigger and better. And so
Mm,
I'm not like too focused on one sale, two sales. No, I know that there's a bigger picture that I need to reach, and I'm not going to
mm,
reach it with just
mm.
driving myself crazy with one or two sales. So yeah.
Right? I love that. So, my
Yes.
final question to you is, tell us a little about the business. Have you felt that your business has expanded in any way? So, it's lovely that you're seeing a shift with finances. But at the end of the day, a lot of the people in the Money Magic course are business people, or they come not as business people, but suddenly they find themselves starting businesses on the side or whatever. Tell us, what's your experience of your business? How's that been working, especially because you are taking breaks?
Look, so my business has gotten better. I'll tell you how it's gotten better. My vision is bigger. My
Mm,
vision is bigger than it was before.
wow.
And also I'm not driving myself crazy with some of the things that I would have in the past.
Mm,
So for me, competition, I don't mind it. Like
mm,
people who are doing the same thing as me, I'm just like, come on, the door is open. Let's do this. Like it's fine.
yeah,
So I know that in the past I would have had like a real panics about that and
yeah.
thinking, oh my God, people are gonna come and take my space. Rah, rah, rah. So I don't think like that anymore. But
Mm,
quickly, also my business I've been able to do some of the money things I needed to do for my business. My
mm,
business never used to have like a running bank account. I
sure,
never used to know my VAT number. I never
sure.
used to like the basic footprint of the business I've managed to do. right
Mm,
now. So I'm also, my vision is just bigger and bigger and bigger than it used to be. So that has helped me a lot. And also I've been able to not accept certain things about my business
mm,
in a way that there are places that I know I won't sell at,
yes.
just because I'm just like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sit in the scorching sun and wait for a customer to come. I'll only sell online because I want that kind of ease and comfort of having to do what
Exactly.
I'm doing
We
in
have a
a
whole
more.
thing of ease in the course. I love that.
Yeah, so for me, it's like it's made me to be able to make those kinds of decisions, or not to just like not to think everybody's a partner, to know who's bad for my business, who's right for my business, to know. So I'm making the decisions around my business. At the moment, I'm not even sure if the business that I'm in is the business that I want to be in forever.
Mm,
If I'm interested in other things, I'm looking at rural property investment as like the thing I want to get into. And I don't know, because I'm just like, I want something bigger. So for me, my business
don't
head
worry, the property
is
investment,
broader.
we're focusing on that next year a heck of a lot. Not gonna say anything, but come
Yeah.
January, you guys will know the full vision. You're gonna get a lot of content around that. I've already laid the groundwork, the organization, the teacher, everything.
You see, so yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing like to learning property investment. I wanna my thing is that I wanna buy properties in the rural areas just because there's money there. And I can say it. So like before that, another thing with the business is that what I realized before I did the course was that so I would imagine, let's say 20,000 rands
Yeah,
money coming in, but I was never clear about how it's going to come in.
yeah,
It was as if it's miraculously just going to appear. So I wasn't putting the steps to say, oh, but I need this, I need that, I need that, I need that to get here. But the
mm,
course has given me that confidence to say, oh, but let's secure this part of the business, that part of the business, then
yes,
we can grow, then we can grow. So I don't
yes.
know how I thought this money was just going to come. I don't know if
You know what?
I
This
don't
is
know how I
why.
thought about it before.
This is
But
why
yeah.
I'm so adamant with you guys. Why I'm like no manifestation talk and all that because yeah, it's magic, and I say do the work. But you know how I'm always on your case. Do the weekly goal setting worksheet. Do the worksheet.
Mm,
Do this, the practical stuff. Because a huge part of it is that we tend to think all we have to do is manifest, and then we're putting so much of our power out into the manifestation that we're not really focused on the action steps. So most people will be taught to affirm and visualize, but the actual goal steps of this is your big vision, then you break it down, and these are the daily action steps that you must take to get to that vision, tend to be missing in a lot of these manifestation conversations, right? And I think that's
mm, mm,
really what you
mm.
just said, because a business needs to have some kind of this is the possible income stream, and this is how we can possibly get there. And you need the worksheets and conversations on how to do that.
Yes, and also then the other thing was that when you're saying you want a car, but you don't know how you're gonna get that car. So I never used to have a plans like that. I would know that I need to do them. I never used to even think of like I don't know how I thought I would get rid of my debt. At
Yeah.
least today I can think, oh, this is how I can start paying off the debt,
Mm.
or I can start thinking in practical ways of how I can do certain things
Yeah.
versus I was just in the dark. But I thought I knew what I wanted, but I was just generally in the dark of the how. So the course for me has given me that. And also just like the confidence to say, maybe if I do want 1 million in a year, I could get it.
Yeah.
Before that, I could not even think those big amounts because I would be thinking, oh, 300,000 a year should be enough. That's what everybody in my family has ever gotten, whatnot.
Yeah.
It was just like the amount of self limiting beliefs that I have around money that I'm still working around always shock me because that's where it lies. This thing of thinking this is what I can afford, this is what I can have,
Mm.
and whatnot. So I think for me, the other thing has been just to dream a little bit bigger than I used to.
I
The course
love
gives you that. Maybe like your mindset shift.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's the
So
big thing,
yeah.
right? I feel like you just, oh my gosh, Azola, this is like you've just described so much of my money journey. You don't even understand. Like from the anything to the allowing yourself to dream bigger to putting in definite action steps and to-do lists and things like that in your business. Oh my, you've just like touched on basically, you've just described my growth in terms of my finances to even, I know,
Mhm.
like with when I decided to even launch the course the first time, I was so petrified. I couldn't dream that I would have students and that I would even be doing this, right? That I would be traveling and running it. But with the work, just
Mm.
you just grow, and like you said, it's like suddenly I'm thinking bigger as well. Like there's so many things, but this is the beauty of the work. As we clear more and more trauma, it just happens. And for you, this has been a 1 year journey, right? Probably just less than a year because you joined this year in the course.
It's less than a year. Yes, I joined in January.
Wow, so much
I
has happened.
magically joined in January.
Wow, I love it.
So
I
so
love
so 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 much. Um, yeah. And the
it.
magic is on pacing yourself and just knowing that I'm always saying I'm giving myself 8 years. I'm saying think about what's gonna happen in 8 years. Think about
It's
what's
going
gonna
to
like
feel like
me
this,
in my
right?
fifties. It's just gonna be beautiful. I know it.
Mm,
Yeah,
I know,
I
like
just
I
know it. It's
truly
gonna
think
be
if,
like it's gonna be fine. Hmm.
yeah, I didn't know that you could travel without debt. I've been traveling for
Yeah.
12 years until I started doing the work myself seriously. So much, even, I mean, my, like you guys are always shocked how much I share, right? Because I also get excited, right? Because half the things that happen to me are also
Mm,
truly magical because
mm,
I do the work and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that was possible. Wow, I didn't know you could do this. I didn't know you could make business decisions like this. But that's the beauty of the work. And then suddenly, I love how it starts to become part of your natural thing when you're like, after a few months, of course, then you get bored with it because now you're stuck on a whole different memory and there's like a whole deeper file that you're working through.
mm.
Yeah, I love that. So for someone who is on the fence, not sure about the cause, what advice would you give them?
Whoa, I'd say dare yourself and register for the course. This is what the biggest thing for you is that you're going to be a lifetime student.
Mm,
So even if you don't start today, even if you start in 2019, you're
mm,
still going to be okay.
yeah.
You're going to be a student forever. So I definitely recommend that you really think about doing it. And then number two, to get into it, knowing that it's not going to be smooth sailing. It's like it gets bumpy in the beginning. I mean, I've also, I don't know. It's like, so that would be like great to know that it's not going to be such It's like you get into the course and then magically like stuff starts to happen. You become more conscious, but also it means you do the hard work. So just keep at the hard work, just keep doing the hard work over and over and over again
And
until
the
you
hard
shift
work is the
and share in the
meditation,
group
guys.
again.
It may not sound
Yeah,
like
yes,
work,
yes, yes.
but
It's
it's hard.
nothing. Yes, because to plug in your phone and listen for that 45 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, you don't know what the memories are going to look like. So there's that part of you that's always resistant to doing because you're thinking you're not ready for some of the things. So
Mm,
that's fine. But also, even if you are not ready for one part of your life, there's always another part of your life you can always tackle. So
yeah.
you don't have to do like the just do the work. I mean, write your journal, keep your journal, do start small, and then eventually you'll get used to it.
Mm,
I
mm,
mean, I'm a lover of self-development, so it hasn't been that hard for me to do the journaling and whatever. I've done those in other mediums, but I've never seen such a shift. So for me, this course gave me the shift I knew I needed. I
oh.
had done, oh my God, I've read The Secret. Oh my God, you don't want to know the stuff I've done. But
Yeah,
anyway,
those
the
are
course for
always my
me, I was
most
like,
challenging
ah,
students. The ones that come with the secret and the visualization in mind. They are my most challenging students because I'm like, hey, time to
I
be
was one of those
trauma.
people. I was one of those people. I did a tons and tons and tons of work before, but also that work that I did, it never spoke about the trauma. So
Mm,
for me, the saving grace partly has been talking about the trauma. So for me, trauma has been like, it's one thing that I'll say when they're talking about trauma, get to understand your own trauma.
mm,
Get to understand your own trauma. That's all. Like just get to know your own trauma. Make friends with it, get to know it. Because your whatever, everything lies in the trauma.
mm.
So
Your
yeah,
salvation is in that.
that's what I would say.
Okay, so wow, Azola,
Mm,
I always
not
think I'm gonna be
any.
like 5 minutes long or 10 minutes long with any of the money magic students. I forget that you guys have a lot to say because we do so much. But
Mhm.
I love the energy that everybody in the group brings. I am so blessed to do this work with you guys because, like I keep saying, I'm not just the person that holds a space, I'm also a student of my own work, and it shows me flames. At least once a month, I am flaming myself. So, thank you so much for coming on to.
Mm. Pleasure, Van. It was wonderful. Join the course, guys. Just join the course. Just join the course. It's nice there. Bye.
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 Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining. I'm trying to get back to my non speaker
I
view.
can still hear you.
Yeah, everyone can still can hear you, so I'm just saying goodbye. Bye, guys. Thank you for joining us. I hope to see you in the course. And thank you, Zola. Cheers. You're frozen, but that's all good. Let me just say, let me just end the broadcast. Cheers.